We have to find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business. We're losing.
But yes, I just finished watching it, y'all, and it was terrible. I feel like a lot of documentaries we've seen didn't have some of the things that this documentary had. For instance, it comes out that a woman signed an affidavit saying that she saw Aubrey being assaulted. Basically the same thing that they said happened to that woman. You remember they were saying that that woman was assaulted in the studio with Puff and a security guard?
Ew, this is disgusting. This male escort says, of all the things Howard allegedly witnessed during his time with Diddy and Cassie, one thing stood out to him as the strangest. Quote, the weirdest thing was they used to physically collect my...
PopPulse family, welcome back. Hope everyone's doing good today. Before we get started, make sure you like, subscribe, and share because we're diving into a story the entire hip-hop world is buzzing about. Netflix has officially announced a massive 50 Cent documentary, and the internet went wild. Fans are hyped, critics are nervous, and reactors everywhere are laughing, debating, and asking the same question. What is 50 finally about to reveal? From old beefs, to hidden footage, to Diddy connections, to secrets the industry never wanted resurfaced, we're breaking it all down, stitched together in one powerful commentary. And a huge shout out to all the creators and reactors whose clips made this documentary mashup possible. Your voices shaped this story. Let's jump in.
If there's one thing I know in this world, it's to never mess with 50 Cent. If I ever have the pleasure of meeting him, I'm just gonna be nice to him, and I'm usually not the nice person. And that's because he is so petty, yo. 50 Cent has a documentary on Diddy, and it's on Netflix, guys. With never before seen footage that the reporter is asking him, how did you get this? Do they know that you have this? So Diddy and his team is gonna see this and be like, where did he get this from? They don't even know that it was coming out.
Bro, I did not think this documentary was gonna get crazier, but like,
it was a little under 2 days.
Curtis 50 motherfucking Cent Jackson officially broke the internet with that Diddy documentary, baby. And when I tell you that that thing dropped at 3 a.m., it's now 7 a.m. and it's already #1 on Netflix, he wasn't playing.
Let me tell y'all something. The more that I sit with this documentary, the more it becomes crystal clear to me, this isn't just a story about Diddy. This is a story about power, protection, silence, and people who paid the price for somebody else's ego. And the stuff they showed, the patterns, the witnesses, the footage, baby, this is years of truth finally crawling out of the shadows.
Maybe 18
Bro.
to 20 hours. And they gave me about $6,000.
this is wild.
Oh, you do have money on you.
This is the craziest shit I've ever heard right here. Watch this. Watch this shit. This is the craziest shit I've ever seen.
You know we doing what we plan to do, girl.
I went to see them every 2-3 weeks. I was involved in this for a little over 8 years.
What?
The weirdest thing was they used to physically collect my semen in a cup. They collected my semen for like a year. It was creepy from the beginning, but after a while, I just said, yo, what are you doing with my semen? He told me, I like to see her play with it and drink it. He's like, what's wrong with that? I was like, to each his own.
Me and my girl out on a Friday night.
Wild. This is wild.
But after that, they never asked me about it again. They never collected it.
This is me every first.
50 Cent has officially won his war with Diddy. I think he won.
Baby, the documentary is called The Reckoning, but it actually should be called Reckless because the way Diddy was out here in these streets is absolutely fucking diabolical. Now, 50 is saying that this is about justice, but baby, the way he did this documentary is definitely giving vendetta. And when I tell y'all that 50 got receipts for days, y'all, this man got drawers, y'all. He got recordings. He got, y'all, the FBI raid, y'all, the whole timeline of the takedown. All y'all are listening to what I'm telling y'all right now. Now, let me just say this. This documentary is not all about the situation that happened with Cassie. He did a very good job with telling the whole story about Diddy regarding his entire life, from the time he was a child up into this very situation that did happen with Cassie. Y'all, when I say receipts, I'm talking about, y'all, the situation with Biggie. Y'all, the situation with Tupac. He got that man looking like a whole goddamn slime ball out here in these streets. Do you hear me? And the fact that this man got more receipts and more coverage and more footage than the FBI is what's actually mind-blowing to me. But when I tell y'all, if you have not watched it, please stop what you're doing. Don't walk, go run. When I tell y'all that 50 did this motherfucking documentary like the rent was due, the mortgage was due, baby, the light bills and the car payment too, he did his big one on this one. Great job, 50.
Being Diddy. And now 50 Cent has a documentary where they're calling him a a-hole and a whole bunch of stuff, and it's on Netflix. I can't believe this shit, yo. 50 Cent has no cap to his pettiness, and if there's one thing I know in this world is to never mess with this guy. He's making a whole documentary, but you see how documentaries usually talk about the person's progress and the change they did in the world, and people talk highly of them, and people talk, you know, how he changed people's lives, because this is Diddy, right? Instead of re-listening how he's helping people and how he bettered a whole bunch of people's lives, we have a whole bunch of people who don't like Diddy talking about Diddy, and Netflix said, fuck it, we need more shit to put. This is hilarious. You guys need to go watch it. 50 Cent, if there's one person in this world that I'm not beefing with, it's 50.
I'm letting all y'all niggas know if I ain't hot, y'all niggas ain't hot. So I'm just telling y'all better get to producing some motherfucking sex in the Porsche. I don't know, y'all acting like I could be motherfucking lukewarm and y'all gonna be hot. You don't wanna be lukewarm. It's been taking me fucking ever to get back to my exact tone, because I got so big I could hear myself rapping. You know what I'm saying? But I'm figuring it out just now. I don't want to be like figuring it out just now and y'all are witnessing Jesus walking on water. You know what I'm saying? Or Jesus having a breakthrough. You know what I'm saying? Because I can only compare myself to the Son of God. You feel me?
And the tone shifts. The most heated conversations come from one thing: what this documentary might expose, especially about Diddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, hey y'all, Diddy ain't coming home. Diddy ain't coming home. I'm gonna let it be known right now, after I just broke down the framework of this documentary that they just dropped, there's no way he coming home. Now everybody's saying, yeah, he gonna beat the allegations on the woman. Yeah, y'all not even realizing what they doing in this documentary. They're showing evidence, right? People gonna watch this documentary and reopen the case just depending on Diddy, so he don't come home. They making the example out this nigga right now. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm watching this documentary, and there's no way they break down the beef. They can break down the statistics as far as how much the killer got paid. You know, him only getting half because he didn't hit Tupac and Suge. Like, the feds is working and Netflix is working for him. Like, bro, I ain't even gonna fake. Like, Diddy, I wish you the best, twin.
Ew, this is disgusting. This male escort says, of all the things Howard allegedly witnessed during his time with Diddy and Cassie, one thing stood out to him as the strangest. Quote, the weirdest thing was they used to physically collect my spooge in a cup. Hey, Mrs. Barbie, they collected my, he uses the S-E to the E, S-E-M to the E to the N word. They collected my spooge for like a year. At one point, the escort asked Diddy about the creepy collection, and the disgraced mogul gave an explanation. He told me, I like to see her play with it and drink it. What's wrong with that? Diddy told the escort. I was like, you know, to each his own. But after that, they never asked me about it again. They never collected it.
somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business. We're losing. Shawn Combs.
Everything in life, you're gonna have people that are bad and people that are good. You have to do your side.
Now, Diddy's attorneys are saying they don't know where 50 got this footage from, and nobody authorized this to be released. I have a feeling that maybe his baby mama has something to do with it. I don't know, this is pure speculation. But he is such a op that you have a whole documentary about you. I would never want to have beef with 50.
Only thing I learned from Shawn Combs The Reckoning is to not ever fuck with 50 Cent. 50 is too smart. He's too brilliant. Now, for those that are unaware of Diddy's life, this is something good to watch. It is 4 episodes. However, for me, I wish it was just like an hour and a half quick movie in and out. The reason being is because the backstory, cool, but the footage leading up to the days before he gets arrested, I am more interested in the countdown to lockdown, if you will, and what the jurors have to say, which we do get into that eventually. The key takeaway is to leave Curtis 50 Cent Jackson alone.
So 50 Cent definitely did not play petty like we all thought he was gonna play petty. He went real clean with this Diddy special on Netflix. I think it is incredibly well done. I think 50 Cent did a great job of profiling Diddy, giving him respect. Honestly, he was respectful by building his profile before, you know, the quote-unquote smear campaign, because it's not a smear campaign, it's the fucking truth. He was a horrible person. He did some horrible shit to people. And what he's going through is exactly what he deserves. But I think everybody knowing 50 Cent from the internet and his antics, we all expected a crazy, almost like unprofessional, kind of messy, like this is 50 ass like type documentary, but that is not at all what it was. He handled the victim testimonies very well. I think that he handled everyone's emotions very well. And I'm saying he, but I know it's an entire machine and you know, production behind him. But I'm saying like he's the executive producer, so he had a lot to do with how this was ran, and it went very well. I think it did a really good job of honoring the people who were affected by this man and his horrible fucking, you know, decisions as a businessman and as a partner and as a friend and as a family. He was just awful. But I think they did a great job of showing, yes, he was impactful. He's a media mogul. He's a fucking, the whole conglomerate that he's a part of, like all of it. But I still does not take away from the fact that he was absolutely despicable in his actions and absolutely despicable in the way he thinks, the way he handles people is just wrong. But anyway, yeah, give it a good watch. Like, and when I say give it a good watch, I want you to sit down with ready ears and listen. Like, listen to the making of this person and then what he became and what he has to pay for.
Oh my God. In episode 4 of the new Diddy documentary, producer Lil Rod claimed that Diddy's son Justin Combs was present at a freak-off. They'll be doing these freak-offs, he says, and it'd be Puff and Justin in the room with multiple women. Closed doors and lots of music and lots of drugs.
I just finished watching 50 Cent Diddy's Reckoning documentary. Please excuse my dog, he was sleeping. Okay. But yes, I just finished watching it, y'all, and it was terrible. I feel like a lot of documentaries we've seen didn't have some of the things that this documentary had. For instance, it comes out that a woman signed an affidavit saying that she saw Aubrey being assaulted. Basically the same thing that they said happened to that woman. You remember they were saying that that woman was assaulted in the studio with Puff and a security guard? Everybody was saying that the lady was lying and all of that. Her story sounds extremely close to Aubrey's story, but Aubrey is saying, I don't remember it. It reminded me of what Corinne Steffen said when she said she didn't remember anything happening to her knowledge, right? Which leaves it open to the fact that I could have been drugged and don't remember what happened. Outside of that, him not paying for Biggie's funeral, like Biggie's estate basically paying for a funeral, him acting like he paid for the funeral, like just diabolical. Propositioning Aubrey, and then when she says no, he fires her, but Dawn moving on to do Dirty Money. Kalina is a tweaker right now because of whatever she was doing with Diddy. Like, it's like, you know, the evil man is always gonna have like those last bottom bitch crackhead hanger-ons that have just done so much damage to themselves that staying close to that person is the only option for them because of how much they degraded themselves for that person. So like separating themselves and being real about it would be like too detrimental to already weakened psyche because of all the drug use. That's what I see with Kalina. What else? Yeah, Diddy's like the devil. Diddy's like the devil. I think that he recognized and acknowledged using tragedy for comeuppance, using tragedy for one's own success. And he repeated a certain methodology in the way he manipulated, in the way he got his way in situations. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I have always said it. I told my husband this a long time ago, but I said I think he's responsible for both Pac and for Biggie's deaths. And this documentary basically sets it up to say that, yeah, he basically did. Which would make so much sense, in all honesty. Like, when you really think about who had the most to gain, who actually was catapulted upwards after all of that. After everybody else had fallen off, he lost all his artists. Like, he just kept moving from person to person, using, sucking, and leaving that person for dead. So, yeah, the documentary was good. And I feel like it should do what R. Kelly's documentary did, which is give people a more honest depiction of what this person is actually like. But he's terrible. Like really fucking horrible. At the end of the documentary, his business partner, Kirk says that not only did Puff like physically abuse him, he also abused him in a sexually deviant manner. So he's protecting him, cleaning up his messes, and also sexually assaulting him. And the way Lil Rod explained not remembering certain things, and it took him a while to put it together that things had happened to him because he didn't know when he was being drugged and when he wasn't. Oh, and there was GHB in the body oil. The prostitute said so. What I think happened is that Diddy would put the GHB in the body oil right before, because that would be the only reason they would have all of that body oil and there wouldn't be any GHB in it, since that's what the lawyer said, even though we had gotten reports that there was GHB. Either way, child, a lot of money was put into getting him off. We'll talk about it fully on YouTube tomorrow. But yeah, y'all. Whew.
First of all, the fact that Diddy had a videographer following him around until the arrest, and that footage is allegedly what ended up getting sold to Netflix, that alone is crazy. And if you know anything about recording laws, the footage belongs to the person that holds the camera, not the celebrity, not the image, the person recording. So you're telling me the very evidence that might destroy him was filmed by someone he hired? The universe has jokes. Then add this. The doc didn't hold back. He referred to himself as God. That let me know exactly the kind of power complex we were dealing with. People in the documentary also highlighted how chaotic the environment around him was growing up, okay? The vibes were loud, they were actual, and kind of out of control. And the people that really watched closely, some viewers are even pointing out the behavior of adults around him were questionable. I told y'all originally I felt like his mama was the original diddler. That's just my personal opinion. Now, I'm not diagnosing him, but what I am saying is that type of environment does shape something very dark, okay? Now let's talk about the witnesses. Former employees, artists, people from his crew, women, industry insiders. They all describe the same patterns: control, fear, emotional chaos, intimidation, manipulation. When the patterns across decades match, that's not a coincidence. That's a blueprint. And don't get me started on the money stuff. Artists, after they got that first big check, then nothing. No transparency, no real financial growth, just contracts that lock people in while he lives his life like a king. Then this is the part that I think is really interesting. There's Keefe D, okay? The people that corroborate his story. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm saying that the doc made it very clear that there are multiple people that have been whispering the same stories for years. It kind of makes me wonder if this documentary was dropped so that public perception would be different, so it's easier to go after him. But I don't know. And here's the part that I truly believe. The government agencies have pieces of this puzzle for a very long time, okay? But whether it's fear or money or thinking he would beat the case, anyway, nobody pushed it. But I think that might change. And let's be honest, public pressure will do what the system refuses to do. Here's another thing that I think is very important to note. Al B. Sure avoided Kim Porter's death, okay? He didn't say much at all. And when people stay that quiet, it's never because they don't have anything to say. It's because it would start a fire. So I'm assuming that there's something open with her unaliving. Now, the documentary brought back old conversations, all right? Remember that bathroom unaliving connected to King Combs? That party? They didn't deep dive, they didn't accuse, but the implications were loud enough to make people say, hold on, let's revisit this one. And why is every major celebrity who partied with him suddenly on Do Not Disturb? Because silence is safer than honesty right now, right? If you were even adjacent to that lifestyle, you're probably praying your name doesn't come up. And if we're gonna be very real, this doc felt less like entertainment and more like evidence. Footage, patterns, witnesses, story lineups for different decades. And for the first time ever, the invisible image of Diddy is cracking. The shield is gone, and the public sympathy is gone. The fear is gone. This isn't just a documentary. This is the reckoning. I don't think you'll be able to beat this.
Another huge conversation. The footage, the tapes, the evidence. People are questioning what Netflix now has access to and what 50 Cent might reveal.
As a Generation X millennial, however, we didn't know too much out here. First things first, Puffy is mad as hell because he hired a videographer to follow him around in New York when he was fighting his case. And when he got arrested, the videographer sold the footage to Netflix. So that's why they have so much behind the scenes footage. So Heavy D put Puffy on. Many of us knew that Heavy D was a major rapper. Rest in peace to Heavy D. He was from Mount Vernon. Puff was from Mount Vernon. He was on Uptown Records. Andre Harrell ran Uptown Records. Uptown. And Puff wanted to get put on. And I'm going to tell y'all, I am very concerned. I really think that Andre Harrell and his mama Janice, these are the two people, and I'll say Clive as well, that created Puff. But Janice and Andre Harrell, yeah, they got a lot to do with what's going on with Puff right now. And the way that Puff took in Usher, Justin Bieber, to me it all starts with Andre Harrell, because literally this is what Andre Harrell did with him. Brought him in, let Puff move into his new house. Puff ingratiated himself with Andre, was like Andre's assistant, dressed him, clothed him, all kinds of crazy stuff. And the pictures that they show, I'm talking about bunned up. And it doesn't talk about he like a son to him. No, it didn't look like a father and a son. It looked way more intimate than that. And Andre threw crazy parties, and you see Puff throws these crazy parties. Andre says, this is very important, that when he brought Puff as an intern, think about the cheesecake story at Junior's. The first thing he told Puff to do was go to a store 10 blocks down to get a tape. He said Puff came back in 2 minutes, and he could not believe it. And it made me think about that Junior cheesecake, where he got that idea from, because basically that's what Andre Harrell did to him. Let's get into Kim, because once he goes into Uptown and starts being an intern there, they say he was mesmerized by Kim. Mind you, Puffy has an issue liking men that he is basically jealous of or wants to be like, wanting their women. This was a thread in these first 3-4 episodes. Puffy knew that Kim was dealing with Al B. Sure. At that time, Al B. was the big dog. Puffy was nobody. But he seen Kim. They said when they would come up on that elevator, Kim would be sitting there just beautiful. So he was mesmerized by her and he wanted her. But Misa used to be cool with EPMD, Eric Sherman. Y'all know you got to chill. She was cool with him. And he said that Puffy was a major fan of him, Eric Sherman from EPMD. And that Puffy basically wanted Misa because he thought that Eric Sherman liked Misa, but really him and Misa were just friends. And that he got very controlling over Misa. This is the first time I ever took notes. What's also sad to me is that Puffy did not drink or smoke when he was at Uptown Records. He was absolutely against it. Now, there's a lot of people in here. Kalina, I ain't gonna lie, Kalina looked a little jittery. She said Puffy was her hero. He also tried to take Suge Knight's side piece. That's how Puffy was, but Suge Knight had a side piece down in Atlanta. And Puffy gave somebody $50,000 to get a chain, trying to tempt Suge Knight's side piece to become his side piece. And let's get into the Cassie, where again, he got with Cassie when Cassie already had a man. Puffy sees women that are with other men, and he wants those women, and he does not take no for an answer. One thing he said in the documentary, Puff, was that he's a dreamer and he doesn't deal with reality. His mother used to throw these extravagant parties. This boy that lived in on the first floor of Puffy's house said that Janice would throw these parties and all kinds of crazy things would be going on. How she always had a new caddy. And I'm going to be honest, he said that she was a little abusive to Puffy. He said that the whoopings that Puffy, a lot of us thought that Janice catered to Puffy, but it sounds like she was very hard on Puffy because he didn't have a father, so she was going out her way, like many Gen X went through, going extra hard, trying to make him extra hard. She also almost made him into this hustler persona, where she had a man who was a big hustler, his father, he got unalived. It was almost like she made Puffy as a little boy into this, the fur coats and everything. Like at his father's funeral as a toddler, she dressed him in a chinchilla fur. The friend said that they would go to Harlem. Mind you, they were from Mount Vernon, and she would be making stops throughout Harlem. I ain't gonna say what he was saying she thought she might have been doing, but if you know what I mean, she was making stops all the way through Harlem. The friend also said he saw Puffy put his hands on his mother, and it, made me think about how she's so tolerant and how he treats other women in his life, but it sounds like they also had an abusive relationship. This Puffy and Tupac thing really hurt me. Because I was around back then and I didn't see it like that. But now it's all very clear that Puffy was jealous of Tupac. Because I do remember how Tupac and Biggie were very cool back in the day. Tupac brought Biggie on tour with him and did shows with him. He loved Biggie. But when Tupac came to that studio in New York and got beat up, almost got unalived, this video is really making it seem like maybe Puff had something to do with that. And Biggie took the fall. But Puffy was jealous of Tupac and Biggie's relationship, to where he did not like that Biggie and Tupac were tight. And he even copied Tupac, where Tupac had the I Get Around video. They said he saw that, he was obsessed with that video, and that's how he came out with the Big Papa video. It seems, I never saw it this way, but like Puffy went into like hardcore rap with Biggie and everything because he saw the West Coast rappers doing it, so he was really trying to be like them. I mean, Puffy has just done people in his life dirty. Even the co-owner, the co-founder of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, that many of us don't even think about anymore. He made that man give up his 25% of the company by telling him, I need this to get this deal and then I'll give it back to you. And he never gave it back to him. Let's not even get into poor Craig Mack. Suge Knight was Al B. Shore's security guard back in the day, and Al B. Shore was on Uptown. So Puffy already knew Suge Knight from back in the day. But anyway, when Suge Knight tried to take Craig Mack with him, Flavor in Your Ear was a whole bop. And Craig Mack's wife saying that Craig was absolutely broke back then, to where they couldn't even pay their bills. And when they asked Puffy for money, he took out a bankroll of money, a whole roll of money like this, and gave Craig Mack $100 out of it. Puffy has gotten away with a lot of things throughout his life, and that was another thread in here from back in the day when I was young, and he had that stampede at that community college because of the concert, and 9 people died. He got out of that. When he beat up Steve Stout, or him and his people beat up Steve Stout, and Steve Stout took that $500,000, he got away with that. When he was with the J-Lo situation, he got away with that. Puffy has gotten away with a lot of things, and, it seems like, basically the chickens came home to roast. And even the 50 months, honestly, based on a lot of things in this documentary, and I'm not even close to being through with it, this is another big thing. There's a woman named Joy Dickerson who basically says that Puffy drugged her and videotaped it and then played the videos at parties. He got this from Alpo. If y'all remember in Paid in Full, Alpo used to put pictures of girls up at a club on the wall projected to show all his men, the girls that he was dealing with. They said Puffy idolized men like this. Alpo was from Harlem. And, now you think about the video and the pictures and stuff like that. Is this where this man got all of this decrepit stuff from? Idolizing hustlers, idolizing pimps. Again, his friend said his mom kept these type of characters in their house.